shiny, shiny, plastic, black mirror fascist, obsessed capitalist. Are you feeling guilty Catholic? Pretty, picturesque Facebook status, happy family and happy marriage, like the magazine pages, superimposed with Photoshop and happy faces, where cancer doesn't exist and your daddy lives for ages, and the black babies with the swollen bellies are only moments on your telly until you switch it off and put your makeup on. So walk your dog vegan and put your makeup on, posing perfectly pouting and put your makeup on. Hypocrite, selfie, snowflake nation, not making a difference, not voting, not independence, cause it's irrelevant to how your hair grows. You're pretty, and it's a pity that you're prepared to perpetuate your particulars on Instagram and prefer not to educate and overcomplicate an avocado. Like you know the answers to the problems of this world. Meditation and mindful. How about realistically having kids to feed on minimum wage and suicidal without letting your wife know? Cause I don't kill myself for fashion, not a psycho for the sake of it. Hate the name of it and really ashamed of it. I hate your glossy, double tongue, so in circle, talky, trashy magazine. Like Sebastian's dreams, your friends are just old plastic, and it's lonely out there. I don't care about your implants or artificial intelligence, agony ants, chitty chat irrelevance, designer shirt and pants. So keep on spending, goodbye pretty people, it's such an ugly ending. Keep pretending, keep on telling yourself that you're so important, like everyone else, like everyone else, like everyone else. Pretty people, pretty people, pretty people, pretty people. Pretty people, pretty people, pretty people, pretty people. Pretty people, pretty people, pretty people, pretty people. Pretty people, pretty people, pretty people. Pretty people, pretty people, pretty people. Pretty. Fight for your rights. But you die to lose.
Goodbye pretty people, I'll miss you. All your little giggling and self-serving circles, self-absorbed, all shallow surface, all that fucking money and totally worthless, in entirety distractive. A life without purpose, your embodiment is everything wrong, emboldened by a Harvey Nicks arrogance, echo chamber, industrial multiplier, factory line features and adjusted plastic artifice, cosmetically cybernetic immortality activist agents. Away with your moisturizing skin armor nonsense, swigging beard lotion against a Georgian backdrop. One sleeves chops are a symptom of civilization in decline. Beggars rocking £100 traders with metallic shell toes. Designer baby accessories with perfect lips and a pre-birth sense of what looks fucking fabulous. It's ridiculous, marvelous, purebred, beautiful offspring of the embassy. Laughing at the wannabes that think that greed is power. The hours tick by and all you want is everything endless. You are now living in the culture with a locust consumer, target population, proof of fashion, housing, online grooming saloons. Pretty predator class, deadly privilege picking flesh and the populace fast. The terrorist victim look is this year's heroin chic. Superior models to snap them pop-up bomb sites, popping prescription antidepressants, propping up debris arranged in artistical splatter patterns. Little ray of ignorant exception at the tipping point. You're dragged to the ground by the teeth of natural selection. We defecate upon your form, prone upon your back and bleeding in round the scissor man. Snicker, snack. Your entrified empathy, ultimately empty, dead heart, pretty face, piss upon your memory.
Pretty people, pretty people, pretty people, pretty people. Pretty people, pretty people, pretty people, pretty people, pretty people. Pretty.
Well, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Insomnia Crew edition. Oh, this dude right here, I swear, is the funniest guy that will ever come into a chat. It's just the way it is. Misbehaved, what's up? Zen, Mills, get me all riled up with the theories. Katie, how you doing? Bogey 708, what is up? Benevolent Opal, thanks for joining us. I see you over there with Greeno. Thank you so much for stopping by. I don't really have a rhyme or reason for tonight. We're going to get into some Delphi. We're going to get into some theories. We'll go ahead and talk about some POIs. But first thing I want to talk about is Occam's razor when it comes to who's responsible for this crime. I mean, think about it. There's no witnesses really that we can put our hands on or put our thumb on. It just makes sense that somebody that lived there who wasn't part of the visitors coming in and out of that trail, it just makes sense. If nobody's seen this person, it's very plausible that they live somewhere on that south end. So we can talk a little bit about that. But we'll spend most of the time in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and post the call-in link here in just a second. Oh, man. What's up, Matthew? Okay, let's see what we got here to start with. Let's go ahead and pull this up. The RTV6. It's always a good conversation starter. So let's do that. It's not a bad place to start, in my opinion. Ooh. Benevolent Opal, thank you so much. She says, I appreciate you looking into all possibilities. Yeah, you never want to go around accusing people, but it's not going to hurt anybody to ask the question, Like if somebody was like, hey, I think Sleuth Intuition is that bridge guy. I'd say, okay, tell me why, what you think, and what you need from me. To prove that I'm not. Because I appreciate that effort. I don't take offense to that claim. But big accusations require big evidence. Don't forget that. Yeah, somebody was asking what kind of pizza you have, Ophelia. Yeah, and if you listen to investigators, they always tell you, they'll be interviewing somebody and the person that they're interviewing will be like, oh, never mind, it's nothing. I don't know why I was bringing that up. The interviewer will always tell you that it's the most minute detail. Every detail matters. The color of the hair, strange sounds that you may have been hearing in the distance, the color of somebody's fingernails. Maybe you noticed that one of the shoes, there was a strange discoloration on the clothing. Every piece of detail matters. And investigators will tell you that. So I just feel like everything's being ignored. I mean, the girls went missing on the south end of that bridge. Who was on the south end of the bridge? Who could have been on the south end of the bridge and not ever touch that trail system? Everybody's asking, all the time. Well, they would have noticed his pants were wet. Not if he came from one of the houses on the south side of that bridge. He'd get his pants wet all day. You would never see him on the trails. He would go through the water, commit the crime, come right back, and go into his home. That's a good question. Big fish, small pond. Welcome. Always good to see you. How do you think they distinguished who they saw that day? How many sketches are there? Well, we know of two. Um, we know that the younger sketch was drawn 2 days after the crime and kind of pushed to the side slightly because they had a lot of witnesses that came forward. But after the investigation, which takes time, Holman was the first one to admit what really happened. Um, it was Mike Patty and the searchers that they witnessed running around those trails. So even Holman, who is the lead investigator, so don't take my word for it. I'm not just throwing theories out there and making stuff up. I mean, it comes right out of the man's mouth. He says the people that he thinks or the first sketch that was provided by the people he thinks is Mike Patty. So if you don't believe me, the man says it himself. This is the guy in charge of the entire investigation. If something happens in this investigation, it goes through him. Not only does it go through him, it probably comes from him. So this is the guy who's taken the time and he knows how the investigation works. You got to find everybody that was in the area. Then you have to interview those people. Then not only do you have to interview them, you have to re-interview them because people are often make mistakes. Then you have to confirm things, and then you have to verify new information that might come from a different witness. Okay, so we know that in 2019, we didn't have the right sketch. For whatever reason, they do now, and they went to that first sketch. So, and if the first sketch is coming from the dog lady, that's pretty strange. We all know that Kelsey explained that it came from new technology. I don't know what that means. So they don't owe us any explanations. They don't owe us any answers. It's up to us to go and dig for them. And if they don't like it, so, oh well. Okay, let me, I don't want to get ahead of the chat. That's kind of why I came here today, just hang out. Oh, Ophelia. Thank you so much. You're too kind. I'm really excited about getting my Etsy merch up. So if you guys are looking to donate, go ahead and grab some of that merch. That's a good way to do it. Also, I'm working out a giveaway. We just ordered out of, I paid for some of my own merch and ordered it to give it away. I'm not sure how to put that together yet. So I'll figure that out. So happy birthday to Ophelia Payne. She's spending all her birthday money and she is buying up some merch. I know a bunch of that stuff was shipped out. I don't know how to work all it. It's mostly my wife that does it. I just kind of do the designing, and I had a bunch of people email me saying, "Hey, you don't have any goth merch." So I was like, "I got you," So I put together a real all black on black with some red font. Man, it came out really good. So, Benevolent Opal, who is new, everybody make sure you make them welcome. All the newcomers. Says, from day one, my gut has said it was someone who knows the area well. I'm not sure from living there or scoping it out. See, me and Bruiser had a really good conversation one time where we were really digging deep into these theories. Like some type of mama's boy with some type of issues, some type of mental issues, some type of strange relationship, some type of person who would look at that place like it's their backyard. So, I mean, you can go back. This video was taken 2-3 months ago where me and Bruiser were talking about this. So I mean, our profile could be correct. We don't know. We're not going around accusing anybody, but if we don't talk about the things that make sense, you know, some things make sense right away. Why ignore that and say, "Oh, no, no, it's not the thing that makes sense. It's this other thing." I don't understand that. My question is, did they search all those houses? I mean, why would they search Ron Logan and then not do a search warrant on the other houses? Especially the ones right on the south end of that bridge. That's where they, uh, I'm assuming where they went missing. Yeah, they could have been running. They could have tried to escape, and that's where they were captured. So here, let's play this. Nobody wants to look at my face this whole time. This is the RTV6 footage. I know it gets kind of repetitive playing this, but really, this is some really good evidence here. This is right after the crime. This is taking place right at the same moment that the girls are located, or just after. Um, so, I mean, it's important. We won't spend a lot of time on it. We'll kind of hang out in the chat while we watch it. And then there's just a couple other things I want to show. And then also, I'm going to go ahead and post the call in. So, if anybody wants to call in, that's totally welcome. You just click the link, it'll bring you over to StreamYard. You can show your face, you can put whatever number or whatever name you want in there. You don't have to show your face, it really doesn't matter. But if you just want to come on and say, "Hey, I have a quick question," and then that's it, that's totally fine too. I'm sure everybody's here to kind of chat. We're all interested in the Delphi case. We're all searching for answers. So, I mean, that's why we're here. Nobody's tuning into this live YouTube right now if they're not interested in what's going on with Delphi. I just don't see that. Even the trolls, they're interested and they're trying to help. They're just bitter a little bit. And I don't hold that against them. It is what it is. See. Welcome, Unsolved with Media May. Didn't you just put out a video? I think I saw something with you earlier today. I might be mistaken, but I think it was you. I believe the two sketches are two different people. One might not have done the crime, but was involved somehow. Just a hunch. I don't know. I really don't know anymore. The truth is, the first sketch could have been the right guy, and then the second sketch could have been provided by somebody protecting that guy. It's like, how do we know? Yeah, I heard that too. That was Kim Riley, but he's not familiar with the area. He didn't even know the name of the creek. He called it like Strawberry or something strange. So, he's not going out there. He's not an investigator. He's just there to address the media and family and stuff like that. That's a good question, Snail. Why did he order him down the hill? And what hill were they ordered down? There's a lot of hills back there. What's up, Grizz? Welcome. Yeah, a lot of these cocky killers, these egotistical killers, I always say the same thing that makes these guys kill is the same thing that makes them think they're going to get away with it. And it's that cockiness. And if they get lucky, sometimes they do get away with it. But I'm not going to let that happen here. I'm not going to sit around anyway and let that happen. I'm not just going to sit around idly, because this is really messed up. And it seems like it might be overly simple. They got the FBI involved. They got all this when really, this could have been an open and shut case. Who knows? But let's take a look at this. Oh, what's up, JT? Yep, Teresa, I don't think anybody did. Welcome, by the way. Looks like a lot of people are in agreement with you. Or did she? Maybe she's covering up for somebody. Maybe she was threatened by a neighbor. Maybe she's afraid of her neighbor. Yep, fight for justice, forget them both. I agree. Why, after almost 2 days of police scanner traffic, why only release 15-minute clip? Well, I'm sure, you can't release all that. Just release the good stuff. Nobody's going to even sit there and listen to all that. Amanda Johnson says, the dog lady's account has always made me wonder about him being local, only because I expected her to recognize them if they lived near her. But when I went there, I don't know. He has to be local. Yeah, she could be covering up, especially with that statement. Oh, I know all I know is he doesn't have blue eyes. Like, that was always strange to me. To me, when I heard that, the first thing I was looking for were people with blue eyes. That's how my mind works. It's like I feel like it was a lie. Unsolved with Medium May. It seems the sketches just are adding too much confusion. Best to not rely on them. Yeah, not to mention confusion, or not only confusion, but all the time they wasted. I remember early on when I saw this case and I started getting into it, I was watching all the locals go around with their posters and people were spending all this money to get these billboards. You had Brad Heath, who apparently seen something near the cemetery. He was doing something to where he would add the flyers to mailing orders. Not exactly sure what it was attached to, but there's all these people doing all this hard work and putting forth all this effort, only for there to be 2 years later, law enforcement comes out, says, you never thought we would switch, to a new investigative strategy. Like, who you talking to, the killers or, the town of Delphi? I don't think they ever thought that, especially with all the time they spent with that image. Ridiculous. I don't blame law enforcement. I'm just saying maybe they don't have anything. Creepy mayor. What makes him who's that? Shane Evans. I don't get any creepy vibes from him. Yep, the CPS building with the vehicle. See, that's also another thing that makes me think law enforcement doesn't really have any information. They're just grasping at everything, that any information that they ever had or that were provided. They're just like, man, we really hope this helps. But if you think about it, if somebody lived in one of those homes nearby that bridge, they could have completed the crime in and out with no witnesses, left very little evidence, and would have even had time to clean up some. So if the crime took place around 3 and they weren't really looking for, any type of crime scene until the following day. Man, that leaves you plenty of time. That would even leave you time to even move like a body or something potentially. Never thought of that. Oh, let me post this link in case. Sorry, I keep forgetting. I got to go over to YouTube and post it there so I can keep it at the top. Let's go ahead and end the poll here. Does the killer live near the bridge? 57%. 57% said no. That's interesting. 56%. Crazy. Okay, there is the StreamYard link. You click that, it will bring you to my backstage. I'll verify you. Make sure you're not some weirdo. And then if you have a question for me or even the chat, there's a lot of people in this chat, Misbehaved, Mills, all these people are here to answer your question. So let me know. Let's see here. They would need search warrants for those houses if the owners let them go in and they got permission. Yep, they got a search warrant for Ron Logan. He had. There's nothing more on Ron Logan than there is on anybody else. Especially that house right on the end of that bridge. So if they're searching his home and his property, they need to be searching that home and that property as well. I mean, it only makes sense if Ron Logan actually killed him, he would probably take him across the creek and dump him on the other property. You know what I mean? Why do it on your own property? It doesn't make sense. So if anything, if it's on Ron Logan's property, I would be more likely to be questioning the people opposite to Ron Logan. I mean, it's common sense. Who knows? Maybe I'm just an idiot. I don't know. I'm sure all those houses have been searched thoroughly, mostly with owner. I don't know. You can't assume these things. I mean, what if police went around? Oh, I'm sure they checked that. I'm sure. He's clear, just assuming things like that. You just can't go around doing that. Yep. Yeah, they're taking pictures. You can see them. And you can see the police tape shine pretty good too from the helicopter footage. Oh, what's up, Rod? Good to see you, man.
What's going on?
What's up, Sean? How you doing, buddy? Haven't talked to you in a while, man. Everything okay?
I'm doing all right, bud.
Good,
I know
man.
sometimes we all go back and forth.
Yeah. Hey, man, you just can't be hard on yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's rough though. I mean, I just know what I know about my father, and I would know his voice and stuff. And it's been a trying year for me, since I found out that he was the killer, and gotten threats from my son too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's going on with that?
Well, he goes on Randy Gravitt's show and tries to get, like him to feel sorry for him and stuff. And I've talked to my son in the past couple of months, and he's mad that I named his little brother, which, I named both of them, not because I was thinking my son in the beginning had anything to do with it, which I don't know what he had to do with what my father did out on that bridge. But I know my father's voice, and it's on the internet too. You can hear his voice on Dennis Harmon YouTube channel talking about his
Mhm.
travel trailer.
It's
And
very close.
yeah, it is. And with all the, my father posting the pictures of the clothes that he wore in the murders, on his. I don't know I know Graz don't like whenever I give an address, but it's out there in public domain where my father's lived, and if you look up the addresses, you can go in and see the murder
I
clothes.
have. Is that the address that has the above ground pool?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
underneath that pool was where he used to burn stuff.
Mhm.
I don't know what, like I was thinking earlier, my father's favorite place to eat was Pizza King. And so I heard that there's a Pizza King up in Delphi too. And there's things like the shoe tree. And my son was taken, and I was taken whenever I lived with my father in '09 to a shoe tree somewhere in Middletown, in Indiana, down here by Louisville, where I live.
Mhm.
And I guess there's a shoe tree in Delphi, and there's, I guess, a shoe tree killer and stuff. So it's like
Well, I
all these
have the
things.
shoe tree. Somebody actually shared it with me if you wanna take a look. I was actually sent to me today.
There is one in Delphi.
It's right on the south end of the bridge where the girls went missing originally. It's on
That's
that property, and it's just to the right. So if instead of going left to the home, you would take a right down the private drive, and just about 10, 20 feet down that road is the shoe tree.
There's a lot of odd things about my father, man. There's the picture of my son with him and other kids at this shoe tree wherever they went. It might be the one down where he lived in Georgetown.
Can you see
That's
that?
odd. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah,
My father took my son to a shoe tree with some other kids on guess what date? February the 14th, 2010. There's just so many odd things about my
well,
father in the
I
murder
was al
clothes.
I was also told that, one of Libby's shoes was found near this tree. So maybe
Hmm.
they tried to throw it up there and it actually fell. I don't know. I can't prove that. I don't know it. This is really one of the first times I've really heard that. But it
I
was
just wonder
somebody that
whose
I
DNA they
trust.
got on the girls, because I put mine into GD. I uploaded it months ago, and that's whenever I told my father when he was still
Mhm.
alive, um, and my son whenever my son admitted, yeah, that's me. We did it. Who will I kill next?
I
And
saw that. I saw
I
that.
don't know why he would. Some people say, "Oh, he's just trying to get you to shut up." I would not even say that. You
That's
know,
what I got from it. I got sarcasm, but I could be wrong. That's just was my opinion and where my perspective, you know.
well, he was wanting me to shut up too. He was like, "You got 5 days," or "We've talked to our lawyers. We've been cleared." Why say all them things? I didn't post everything that my son had said out there. It's not that I'm trying to get my son put in prison, but I want the families to get their closure if there's any of that possible, because there's questions before Delphi that I have questions about my father and what he's got my son involved. And if I can even go back around my son ever again without worrying about him trying to kill me,
Mhm. Well, it's
I
funny that
don't
you
know.
brought I didn't know that he went on Randy's show. He was actually reaching out to Bruiser, trying to get a platform, and I'm assuming that's because at the time, you and Bruiser were kinda having a little tiff, and,
Oh, I love
this
Bruiser.
yeah, this is how good of a person Bruiser is. He says, "I wouldn't do that." He's like, "That's not my business, you know, I wouldn't do that to Sean, you know, I don't even though he seems like he needs a platform, he's like, that's not for me to decide. So I just want you to know that's what he told me in private. And I was like, maybe you should talk to them. He was like, he said no.
I did.
Bruiser said no. He says no,
Yeah.
even though your son was emailing him and asking him like, hey, I just want to kind of clear my name. I want to come talk with you. He was like, anybody could have just jumped on him, like an ambulance chaser. But Bruiser was like, I'm not having any part of that.
See, I don't know if my son was the one that was in the car that, because wasn't there a red truck that was supposedly left at the cemetery? That
Mm-hmm.
the keys and stuff, someone had to bring keys.
Well,
Is
apparently it was Pat Brown, and you could hear over the radio chatter that he's missing his keys, and those are the things that kind of led to all these crazy conspiracies, and I'm guilty of it too. So it's hard to tell
I
what's
mean,
really.
yeah. I mean, but I know definitely that's my father on that bridge. I mean, I've got him in the same blue coat. Like this week, I'm going to do a show with Salon Sleuth again, but this time it's going to be over Linda Weldy from his hometown. My father, was a military police officer, the same circumstances, young redheaded child, one of them with redhead, which Abby and Libby was both redhead,
Mhm.
or reddish tint. My father liked redheaded women. He had very he had a very violent nature whenever it come to women, and his aggression around the throat area. And if it's true that he did cut the girls and all that, I've linked it to my uncle too, and it's like there's so many things about my father posting his own murder clothes, posted on his own Facebook. That's how I found out about it. Because what's also odd is that my uncle was murdered in LaPorte, where Linda Weldy was murdered off of railroad tracks.
Mhm. I
From
saw
that
that.
time of day. And so she was redhead, local hangout from where, abandoned railroad tracks where young kids would hang out. I can't believe they even drove four-wheelers across Delphi. I mean, they're
Mhm. Yeah,
crazy.
Garrett Kurtz, he said that.
There ain't no way you could get me across that bridge, And my father he was very methodical in how he manipulates a lot of people with just how he could DJ, and with his weirdness with his doll, his dummy. And so I started looking at, and I know I've talked about other murders like the Ypsilanti, Michigan murders, because he
Mhm.
rode motorcycles. He traveled like from where the alphabet murders happen and stuff, double letters in their names, like Abby and Libby, Lyric Cook and Collins. They've gotten back a hold of me. And at times, I've went against some of the podcasters, and I've never really come at you. I've went against some of the other people, because I've sent a lot of people this email stuff about my father.
No, I get it. We've had our problems, Sean, but I don't judge you or anything like that, and I get the frustration. And I've looked into your father, and I haven't found anything that excludes him from the crime. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and the voice and the face, and him wearing the same blue coat years ago, just like tonight. I thought he's probably, if there's a Pizza King up there, like I thought. He loved Pizza King. If someone that works at Pizza King can identify him up there, my son, I don't know what he's involved in, so he is a little smartass. From what my father's wife, after he died, she won't even talk about Delphi for some reason. I don't know why, because I brought it up to her. She told me back in the day, Dylan used to hurt his horse and abuse the horse. So that's signs of
Hmm.
aggression toward animals. There was
Yeah.
probably sexual abuse by my father. Maybe, I don't know if he sexually abused me, but he did my sisters. He kidnapped my sisters. Um, with the Ypsilanti, Michigan murders, they was killed at one place, and there was locks of hair that was cut off of victims and
I thought
planted.
that was strange. So I mean, if we come to find out that that is a similar signature, I mean, that'd be extremely interesting. Like I said, I can't go around saying because I don't know. I'm not a witness like you are to it. You're a witness, and law enforcement always says, we're looking for a family member, a friend, somebody who says, I know that person. So I
I
get
hope
what
they
you're
take me
doing.
serious.
But you got to understand, for us, we're not in your position, so we don't see what you see. We can't just verify it with your experience with that person. So it's real hard. So you shouldn't try to convince us. I feel like you've done everything that you could, especially with the familiar DNA and all of that stuff. Like, you're doing everything that you should be doing. Don't worry about convincing us. We're just going to sleuth on until we have that proof or everything's um, concluded. Like, you've done a great job. For you to put your DNA in there and do all those things and create awareness. I mean, what else can you do, Sean?
Yeah, I just I wish more people would look at the evidence against my father, and I mean every other week it's like this person and that person, and I'm like, okay, last 6 months it was James Chadwell, and then before that
Hmm.
it was this person, and then now it's this Keegan. And the thing with the Keegan Klein is they never show his face in these videos where he's driving this Nissan. My father got rid of a Nissan 13 days after the murder. His phone, he posted about, on Facebook. My phone got wet 2 days after the murder, but then my uncle was murdered on the same date that Doug Carter held the last presser on August 20 or April 22nd, 1975, 5 days before I was born. And it's just all these oddities that I think Doug Carter and them was just waiting for the right person to come out, that they might have even knew who my father was, but they needed someone to say, hey, that's who that is.
Well, like I said, there's nothing else that you can do.
Yeah.
Um, there's no need in trying to convince us. We're not gonna be in a position to make any moves that are gonna assist you, unless it's just the frustration of it all. I get it. You're watching this whole Delphi community. We come on these chats, and we're here talking about this. We're here talking about that, and you're sitting there with, and you're from your perspective with all the
Angry,
answers, angry at everybody. Not,
raging.
but you don't have to convince us, man. Like, I want you to
I
know
know.
that, like I said, I've never denied it. I won't deny it because I think it is. I think he's a good POI. I've done looking into all his videos, the things where he kind of is hanging out, filming his trailer and filming the mailbox and kind of talking about that stuff. It's very compelling.
Yeah, and then and it's like after the presser, he starts manipulating when that video was put out, and then he starts taking pictures and talking about. That's how I found out about the Delphi, is because after the 2019 presser, I never got on Facebook until last year looking to see what my father and son had been doing over the years,
Hmm.
and just like finding the picture of the shoe tree, and then finding out that there was a shoe tree killer, and then Evansdale calling me back. So I think that they're looking into him very deeply. But now, what are they going to do whenever he's dead? Is my son a part of it? Was my son complicit? In coming out there and helping do something? Was there
But
more people
this is this is what I want you to focus on right now. The evidence, the main evidence, is the guy walking down the bridge. That's the most compelling piece of evidence, and that's the piece of evidence that brought you to those terms. Like, hey, that's my father. The second
Yeah,
biggest piece of evidence is the voice. You said, hey, well, shit, those two pieces together are what matter. I think what makes it hard for everybody is when you get into that echo chamber and all these conspiracy theories are flying around, and then you want to try to grab those and pull them into your father. I think you're fine just hanging out with the voice and that bridge walk. That's all you need, man, because that's the real evidence. Trying to use all this other stuff to kind of tie it in with the circumstantial stuff, I don't think it's giving any credibility to the theory. I think if you focus on the two main points, which is what law enforcement wanted, I think you're good, man. If you just stick there, I think you
Yeah,
lose it.
I did so many. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
About that, but then you got to look at his past too, what led up to Delphi, and
Mhm.
like the murder of my uncle, that was stabbed in the same city as Linda Weldy up in LaPorte, Michigan City. It's like there's so many things that tie to like Delphi being part of
See, that's
group.
credible right there. That's a good one to tie in because that is blood. That's a relative. Your father was around that person. To me, I think that is a good part of your theory. I think it's just the other things where they start bringing up evidence about Anthony shots and they're talking about a Nissan and you want to try to figure out how that Nissan is. Don't worry about all that other stuff. Just focus on the meat and potatoes, and you might be right, Sean. Nobody's telling you you're wrong here, on this
Oh, I
channel.
know.
Not me.
I just I just want it to be over for the families. It's more of like what my son's involved in, because now I don't know if I can trust him. And what is he going to become a killer too, or is he already killed? And it's like I need these answers too. And I know it's frustrating for people like in the family that has to have. This is going on the fifth year, and I came out last year whenever I found out. So let's hope there's something, this coming month that they might bring out. But I think that'd be kind of wrong to wait until February. If you thought it was
Mhm.
my fault months ago, you should say something. But they
Yeah, and
aren't telling me nothing either.
with the things that I've seen, I'm not going to be the guy to come out and be like, Sean, like you're wrong or what you're saying is ridiculous, because it's really not. It's I see what's going on. It's all the other stuff that you're trying to pull in. That's the part that kind of I can see throwing everybody else off. I can decipher between it and I can stay focused in. But before I end with you, Sean, are you okay taking some questions maybe from the chat or talking
Yeah, I can
directly
take
to the chat? Anybody have any questions for Sean before we jump off with him and then play more of this? And Sean, if you want later on, you can call back in. I just don't want to make it too focused on any
about
specific thing. Yeah.
yeah.
So if anybody has any questions for Sean, right now would be the time. Um, So they're saying that the jacket is Indiana Packers. What jacket were you talking about, Sean?
Um, my father, I've showed a photo of him with a redheaded child with blood on her neck and the blue windbreaker that he's got.
Mhm. I
He's
saw that.
wore that for years with a scarf. There's a scarf that he's wearing. That's a maroon shirt that's hanging out in the Delphi video. He's also got a hoodie on. He posts all this in the 4490
It's
Pleasure
like a
Ridge.
brown. It's almost like a brownish suede looking um,
It's
thing,
a
right?
it's a reddish maroon
I've seen. Yeah,
because.
I've looked at all those images, man. I've checked them all out.
Did you
So
see the gear at the bottom, the garrote at the bottom of the photo too? In the photo with the maroon shirt that I showed with the hat that is bent. That's
hmm yeah, I
yeah.
like that hat. I
And then
spent
the
some time taking a look at that hat.
Becky Patty Maynard's posted a photo of some people in that hotel, and I zoomed in and what looked like my father, in a cowboy hat, and there's a cowboy hat also in that photo.
Yeah,
With
see,
the,
I think it's that kind of stuff that's losing people because you don't need all that. You don't need to prove we have too much trying to prove who that bridge guy is. It's hard. It kind of distracts people trying to figure out what's going on with images like that.
I
But
think
Misbehave has a question. She says, Sean, you need to live your life too. Don't become a victim of this either. It's basically what they're saying. Ophelia says, Sean, stay vigilant. I hope you get some answers.
thank you.
Um, let's see, Sean. Oh, here's a question for you from CD. What's up, CD? By the way, Sean, the percentage of murders like this, it is very low percentage that two girls murdered. If not being a serial killer, it is most likely a catfish or at least stalking by social media. Your dad could have been stalking.
I think he was a serial killer.
Yeah, he could be, man. You would know. I would never say that you're wrong. Why? How? What? Why? How would I know that?
Yeah. I mean, and I didn't suspect it until I started seeing that he posted his own murder and talking about, the piece of shit on the bridge, which was himself. And that's how I
Mhm.
came about it, last year. And he didn't start posting this until after the April 22nd, 2019 presser. That was the same day as my uncle being murdered, like I said, back in 75. So I
Well,
just wonder.
that goes right into this question. Shauna Lee says, did Sean, did you happen to suspect the bridge guy was your father right away or over time? I mean, I know the answer to that, but if you want to go ahead and tell her.
Yeah, right whenever I heard the video, I knew it was him. I knew, and he says, "Go, guys, go down the hill." I don't. I think that's what I hear his
But you
voice.
didn't hear it right away. You didn't know about the Delphi case when it first
Yeah,
happened, right? It took you a couple years, I think is the question she's asking.
yeah. I overlooked his Facebook post about it last year, and then I went back and reread it. I think he posted it on March the 3rd, April or May the 3rd of 2019, right after the 22nd of April 2019 presser. Then he posted about the murders, and I overlooked that last year. And then I went back in February or the year before in 2020. Then last year I went back in February, and that's whenever I realized. And then I found out there was a video that they had gotten and listened to the voice and automatically knew. And then I found out about my son being the younger composite sketch. And I think the reason why they switched from the older to the younger was to get my son to tell on my father, because then it made my son look like he was the main suspect,
Mhm.
even though my son isn't bridge guy and the voice, they do look a lot alike. Even my father's Dennis Harmon YouTube page, where you can hear his voice talking about the travel trailer, he looks just like the younger composite, And my father was a military police officer, worked on South Bend, Indiana Railroad as a welder. So he's got knowledge. He thinks, okay, out here in the woods, I just wonder, how many other people he's done this to. And so I was compelled right away to call. He wasn't religious, no.
Okay. Yeah, that was going to be the last question. And Sean,
Yeah,
if you want to join me again towards the end, or if you end up leaving and coming back or whatever, you want to jump back on the final question, that's totally cool as well. Right now, I'm going to play some of this RTV6 footage. And
yeah.
thanks for jumping on, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, bud.
Hey, anytime. You're welcome anytime. Okay. And if anybody has any questions for Sean in the comments, go ahead. You know, Sean has his own personality and his own ways of doing things. And I know that it could be off putting to some, but, it could be frustrating. He's coming from a sincere place. So, maybe one day he'll prove us all wrong. But everybody take a look at this. And then after about 2-3 minutes, we'll come back to the chat. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of sad when this kind of stuff happens. It's like the nuclear fallout from it all is bad. Even with the people that live near it, like, we're making theories about the people that live near the crime scene. I mean, for good reason, of course, but it's at these times we need Amber. Yep. Happy birthday, Ophelia. What's up, Mandy? How you doing? Oh my God. I knew it. I knew it was misbehaved this whole time. I was just fooling y'all. Yep. Apep Jones keeping up with things. I like that. I was looking at it and the shoreline didn't match up. So definitely not my log. I don't think anyway. But if you guys want to take a look at this, when I was talking with Sean Harmon, I pulled up the shoe tree. A friend of mine shared this with me along with the scary story, but I asked for permission to show this picture. I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm sure she wouldn't mind. But I will share the story after I get permission. And it might help you understand. Oh, looks like we got somebody buzzing in. Give me a second. MD, what's up? Oh my God. That was so scary. Good thing I keep my headphones down. CD, I don't know. Oh man. It's kind of funny. It was a very short story. It was exciting. It was a little bit intense. Apparently, it was somebody named MD. It was a medical doctor, apparently. Well, CD, we're going to keep this one really short, man. So if you're going to call in, you better do it now. Serial killer, cadaver dot. See, I like that. You never know. Because there was a missing person right before the Delphi case, about 15 miles outside of Delphi, there was a person who went missing. He was actually wanted by law enforcement. And when they found him, he had a self-inflicted gunshot wound, but they couldn't really prove if it was suicide or not. But it appeared to be suicide. You're a good papa. Must have a new one, a newborn. I remember those days. Mm-hmm. I agree. I saw that. We can take a look at this map too. Let's see. We can stop that RTV6 and we can talk about this. So if anybody else wants to call in and yell on the microphone, feel free. Express yourself. You know, this is a no judgment zone. Oh man. Oh, where'd that go? KA. I want a 1:30 a.m. bottle. If I didn't work tomorrow. Plus, I'm cutting back. I just had the wife went shopping, brought back a couple, brought a 6-pack. I've had 2, well, actually 1.5, and I haven't drank in a while. Ooh. Kind of feel a little dizzy. Mills, I'm going to have to do a little bit of research on that. He was found fairly close to Delphi, and apparently he was suspected of breaking into his sister's home. I think his name was Alex or Anthony, something like that. But he was missing in 2016 and was found not too far from Delphi. Oh yeah, Rooster. They're badass. I just ordered one and I'm gonna give one away. So I got to figure out a contest or something. I've been selling so many hats, like I don't even know what to do. I'm like, oh man, I thought I would sell 1 or 2. They're almost like out of stock. It's crazy. So we designed a new one. Everybody was like, hey, where's your goth merch? And I was like, yeah, you can't have a true crime podcast without goth merch. Like, that just wouldn't be right. It doesn't make any sense. So I thought the hat was pretty gothic, in my opinion. What do I know? But I did design it. Oh, you did try to call in? Yeah, you have to have a really, really good internet connection or it probably won't let you join. But if you have a really, really good yelling voice, yeah, we definitely want to hear from you. Because that last one, really wasn't that good. Sounded more like a laugh. Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel, right on the main, that little banner at the top. There's like a little link on the right. Oh, let me see if I can post it. Yeah, the hat's actually really cool. Well, I think I found it here. Bam. Yep. Harvey Lee, the natural bridge. It would be very easy to walk across that. So if somebody was hanging out, near this property on the south end of the bridge, and they were witnessing, you have a clear view of that bridge from the back end of that property. So if somebody was down there, they could easily cross that natural bridge and just quickly try to block the girls off by joining that bridge, kind of forcing them off in that direction. And also, if you were planning a murder, let's say you've been spending all year and you're planning a murder, you have it all planned out and you have maybe a deer camera or some type of camera somewhere, you would want to take your victims like towards that camera so that you could film it and have a trophy, you know? Wait, what's this? Oh, did I post the wrong link? Sorry. Oh, I think we got another screamer. We have a clue. Hello, clue.
I will give you a clue.
I'm listening.
I stuck a sock up her. I stuck a sock up her.
You stuck a what up what? Dang, these guys aren't even good at trolling. He stuck a what up what? Well, CD, when you call in, I'll start pulling up pictures for you, buddy. Oh, he stuck a sock up her. That guy had a really cool voice. He talked like this. Very intense. Ooh, socks and stuff. You got to be careful, guys. This is the Insomnia crew. You don't know who's out. The freaks come out at night. All right. I'm going to play some of the bridge guy motion, and then we can kind of go into the audio. So let's do that. Let's stick to the basics. I'm going to take my own advice. Guess we can start with this one. Is that you, Ophelia?
Yeah, it's me. I'm not sure.
Hey! How you doing?
I'm all right. Thank you for the happy birthdays and everything. I don't have headphones, so I can't mute anything very well.
Okay. I'll talk quiet.
I just want to thank you for keep going with the channel. I love everybody in here, and I love everybody on Reno's page as well. So it's pretty amazing, and I can't wait to get the hoodie. I know it's on its way. I got 3-in-1.
Yeah, I saw that. It says it hasn't shipped yet. Yeah. So hopefully it'll ship tomorrow.
Oh yeah, no problem. It's all sent to my phone, so good. I love the font on your hat because it does remind me of Suicide Tendencies font a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I love how it's just a little bit off. I don't know. It's really cute. It's cool.
Well, I really appreciate that. I appreciate your support. Like, it's fun having you.
Ah, man, I love everybody. I love it. I don't know. Everybody's really awesome here. It's just so cool because I've been in such a dark place too.
Really?
Pretty much like everybody else has been, you know. And
Well,
I
nothing gets
I
me
love
down.
this live stuff so that I can come in and relate, you know.
Yeah, try
and
to stay busy, because you're definitely a big part of the chat, and it's been good having you. So please continue to participate, and so will I.
Definitely. I love I don't know. I love Miss Beave. I'm gonna be a little biased, can't help it. She's adorable. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
True
love
Crime Bloke
everybody.
is in love.
Oh, I know. Oh my goodness. I
He
know,
is
right?
smitten, like on some, really.
Like on some ecstasy. Like she put a spell on him and now you're
Mhm.
mine.
Yeah.
Welcome to the 40s of everybody and your birthdays that are coming up and birthdays that have, you know, were before that, no matter what.
Yeah.
Good.
Why are you why are you down? Everything okay? Anything you want to talk about?
I don't know. It's just kind of difficult sometimes, you know, people get down, get sad, and just gotta pick yourself back up and eat some pizza and have a drink of wine a little bit. Maybe that sounds a little alcoholic, but whatever.
No, that sounds amazing. What kind of pizza you got?
It was from Toppers. I haven't had them before. And I got like a thin crust pineapple cheese pizza from Toppers. I'm in Kansas now, so
That is so funny. I was about to type in pineapple. Somebody was asking what kind of pizza you got.
Oh,
And I
I'm
was
crazy
gonna
about
type
it. My friend from Sacramento, California, came back with a little crisp pineapple for me, like just for me to have on my little, like, well, my future desk. But yeah, no, I'm nuts about it. It's I'll you guys can't hide it from me. Just put it that way. If you ever have pineapple in the house, you just can't hide it. It's just gonna be that way, and that's the way it is.
Well, I like pizza and wine. I like that combination. Because, I mean,
I
technically,
have a
it's
Merlot
wine.
here. Pizza and wine is good. Got a
Mhm.
Merlot here, which is nice. It's from Yellowtail. It's a nice
how is it?
Merlot. It's very delicious. I like it. I actually wrote to them not too long ago saying, please kidnap me and put me in your vineyard so I can pick grapes all day long. I won't be your slave.
What if you're not picking them, but you're actually smashing them with your bare feet?
Oh, I don't care about that, but I don't want to be there for drinks. I just want to like keep busy.
Oh,
Probably
you're
something.
like a shark. You're like a shark. You got to keep moving.
I like the science side of it because the breweries have the same thing. The whole science of it, I think that's very interesting. But being around a lot, the smell might get to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I love the smell of wine.
It's good. Merlot, it's right here. Yellowtail.
So, Philia, what do you want to, anything on your mind in regards to the case?
I had a lot of questions, but then I kind of got a little lost because I really respect Sean and him calling in. And I can't remember whose channel I was on or in the chat room with. I'm not sure if it was Greeno's or somebody else's. And he sticks the same thing every time. And I do believe that, you know, a child knows their parents' voice. They know, they just know who their family is. And what's really interesting, it's kind of topic, but it kind of might relate. But there was a study about how females have a really great sense of smell, not to get incestual with another man's smell, that they can smell it and they know that they might be related. There was a whole study about it. I have to find the link. And then they did it with men and they react the same way. That person is a turn off because I don't know. I had to look it up. I saw it like a year or two ago. I gotta find it, but they had like siblings not knowing that their brothers, their dads, or cousins were exercising with just plain white shirts, and they were put in bags, and they did a smell test for women. And the women who marked no were the ones that they pointed out were their siblings or relatives.
Wow.
So it was like natural pheromone
Like
thing that
pheromones.
they did,
Yeah.
to stay away from inbreeding.
Natural instincts.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I'll have to look it up again. It was, I don't know, it wasn't the Travel Channel, but it was on, one of those channels that I did watch years ago, but it's so interesting. But I don't know, I had a point and lost it, so I'm sorry.
No, that's interesting. That's an interesting topic.
But it kind of relates to, if you know that that's your father, that I do feel he knows that that is dad. He is a serial killer or was a serial killer or something like that. I think he does have a lot of questions that need to be answered. He's witnessed things that
Yeah, I
cannot
feel
be
for
put
Sean.
out.
'Cause
Yeah.
I don't think that he's lying. I think that he truly believes the things that he's saying.
He said things that obviously we not know about, but we can't put that out. That's definitely huge. I mean, I do know for a fact that in Springstead, Wisconsin, that's where all the Hell's Angels hang out at, in the woods, because there was a place that I was kind of dragged to as a kid, from family members, or just in the middle of the woods called Joe's, and that's where all the Hell's Angels in Springstead, Wisconsin would go after they were done with Indiana and Illinois. Yeah. Yeah. And anybody can go trailing on all sorts of snow and everything, and there's all these other bars that are just in the middle of the woods out of nowhere for anybody to go.
He says his dad was a biker too.
And then there's also in Savannah, Illinois. I'm not sure if it's still up, but it's called Poopy's Pub. And before it was the big structure it is, probably till today, before that, when I was underage, it was definitely a very underground area for all biker community to go to. I just went there to be a rebel. But I mean, there'd be people get tattoos right on the back of the chairs, and God, you guys are weird. I see. But I got to mess around with the fog machine for the band, so I thought that I was pretty important. So
you were
kind of cool. I think so. I just was
That's
studying.
the most important part.
I was studying the lights and whatever in the background. So.
Oh, nice. So you're a roadie.
No, fuck no. No. We drove in my little Isuzu Trooper there, and then we get the fuck back out. I mean, in Clinton, Iowa, that's where I went and saw Suicidal Tendencies for the first time. I was 17. It's called the Pig Pen.
I was like a little mosh pit.
Well, like sardines just getting exploded.
Yikes.
It was awesome. Got to talk to Mike later. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Hey, he's a nice guy. And I don't know. I worked for Live Nations for a while, so I don't want to know all that shit. That's beyond the point. But yeah, I feel like you just people need to believe in somebody who's gonna confess, because like David Shooter, who is completely psycho, who admitted to, I guess, being with his father, who kidnapped Johnny Gosh. So
Not familiar with that one.
there is some things I can send you. I don't know what to believe, but it makes a complete sense, because the guy named Paul Nasty or whatever was a part of it, and he confessed to it all. And they had the Boys Town in Virginia, where I guess they said, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of he say stuff at the Boys Town. There's a whole lot there. Besides the I just think a lot of stuff is related through everything anyway. So especially when there's the whole pedophile highway. I wish I still had that interview. I'm gonna have to look that up too, about what goes from Ohio, Indiana, Wisconsin, but it doesn't go straight through Illinois. And I'm from Northern Illinois. I'm from Freeport, Illinois, born in Monroe, Wisconsin, raised in Freeport, Illinois, and in Chicago. And for some reason, it skips over Illinois, which is, I think, interesting. Goes to Ohio or down south.
John Gosh.
Johnny Gosh.
Hmm.
David Shooter and Johnny Gosh. I mean, that's your opinion. I don't know. There's been so many things that, and then Paul Benassi was, yeah. So there's this whole route, and I guess there was a boys' town that everybody was taken to too. I don't know. Very different. Very, very different.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because how easy it is for these killers to get away with their crimes.
Yeah, there's a whole like route for everything though, and there's even more traffic and highways being built to keep going with that. And if you were, I don't know if anybody, because I know some people are from Australia that have been in your chat or Greenhouse chat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
lots of
if
people.
you go into if you go into the Outback, oh my God, you're gonna die. You know your shit. Like that's it. Your Audi 5000. That's it. You gotta know your shit out there because you're not gonna live. I know I wouldn't like study. Somebody could just like, I don't know. There was a guy that did kidnap people. I don't really remember his name, but they still haven't found him. He was an Outback guy. That's all I know.
Oh, I think I know what story this is.
But yeah, it's really scary. And you know what's even more weird is that when the pandemic first hit, when COVID first hit, I was like, oh my goodness, this is never gonna pop up and get murdered, everything else. I can see it. I know it. And it happened.
Yeah.
And it keeps happening.
Crazy.
That and everybody selling their kids. It's weird. Just all the like weirdos coming out for everything.
Kind of like tonight. Did you hear those calls?
Well, the thing is, I don't know. I don't know. I have my opinions, and no, I can't really. I want to laugh right now, so I kind of might go watch some South Park after this. But
Nothing wrong with that.
Kind of having a good time. But yeah, it's the serious point of everything is just that's how I feel, and I do want to know. I don't know. The Delphi thing it's so scattered and so messed up and it's so covered up. And trust me, it's probably a fucking authority. Like everybody said, they're not that intelligent. I've been to Indiana. I've been around those areas for parties or events, whatever. And no. Nobody's intelligent in fucking Freeport, Illinois. My fucking high school mascot was a goddamn pretzel.
What?
I'm not joking. Freeport, Illinois, look it up. And we didn't have anything like I have now. We had a decor on the wall. But now they actually have a fucking mascot. I mean, we were lucky with stickers. But seriously, I'm not joking. This
pretzel.
is literally, the Freeport fucking pretzels. So trust me, no one's that intelligent around those fucking areas. Trust me. They're all fucking cousins fucking everybody else. Pardon my French, but excuse me. No.
Cousin brothers?
I wasn't raised there. I was made fun of because I didn't have rooted family there. Because my family, like military rat, everywhere. They're in, Paris or Hawaii or New York or something else. Like, we were spread out. So if you didn't have anybody related to you there, oh my God.
You're like an
You're an
outsider.
outsider. Well, okay, pony boy, let's get it up. You know?
I love that movie.
I too. It was a great book as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. I'm going to do a shot and then I'm going to let you go and I'm going to go back into the chat.
All right.
I love you
Thanks for
guys so
calling in.
much.
Yeah, we love you too.
You guys are amazing and awesome, and I can't wait to get my hoodie. I'll make sure I get signatures, but I do want to get the hat that you have, but you are selling for those, so I'll have to.
Oh, I'm gonna give one away. I'm gonna give an all black one with the red writing. So I just got to figure out how or what I'm gonna do.
What you should do is, I'll have to message you about it. I know a great little giveaway.
Send me some ideas. Send me some ideas because I'm drawing a blank.
Oh no, I've got some really cute ideas, quirky ideas, or anything. But it's it'll have to be like, first come, first served, bing bing.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I love you, and I'm gonna go back in the chat because I want to talk to people.
All right. Thanks for calling in. Anybody else got some questions for Ophelia? Let her know. She's still in the chat.
Can only see so much, so I have to go back in the chat because I'm on my phone.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back up too.
Okay, where'd you go? Are you still there or not?
Me? Yeah, I'm here.
My phone. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm gonna leave now. Audi 5,000, like a million.
Audi 5,000. What's up, CD?
What is up, Sleuth? What's going on?
Not much, man. How you doing?
I'm doing. How's everything going? How's your new year?
Dude, it was really good. Things are going really well for me. I've had a really good,
great.
The last 2 years have been absolutely wonderful for me.
I'd like to hear it. I like to hear it.
How you doing? You sound like you're on daddy duty.
Yeah, I'm on daddy duty tonight. Little guy's a terror. He doesn't sleep well. He's getting his molars in, so it's been a rough couple days.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but all's good. Everything's good. Same shit. You know how it goes.
Oh, yeah. So what's on your mind, man? You got a million questions coming at you through the chat. What's on your mind?
Oh, well, do you want to bring up? Can you see that picture I sent you? That was the initial picture I sent you with the Maxwell search warrant.
Oh, let me pull it up.
When the best friend was talking, and
Mm-hmm.
he put out that whole piece.
Yeah, and there's people trying to say that he's cleared. I don't ever remember him being cleared.
I don't believe he was fully cleared either. They took a lot. They took a lot out of that house also when they went to his house and did the search warrant. And remember when we talked about the initial Klein thing, and I said to you, I believe that Klein came from his 2016 arrest, but also I think it possibly could be from that search warrant there, from the computers.
Oh, really?
So I'm just pulling up the chat on my iPad so I can read if anybody asks anything, so I can see what's going on.
I'm getting ready to load that image up here now. So I'll have you walk us through it once you're. It's just gonna take me a second.
Yeah, hold on. I'm just signing into my Gmail so I can see it. Oh, I can see my photos.
Okay, I'll tell you when it's up. I don't know if I can make this full screen or not. Well, hopefully people can read that.
And just to give them a little backstory on this, so everybody knows, that's one of Maxwell's friends that was with him when the cops, I guess, approached them. I'm just pulling it up also. Hold on 1 second.
Can you see what I have up?
I can see it, yeah. I got it on mine too.
That's what you wanted me to pull up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, I could see it on the phone I'm on, so I'm sure everybody can see that on the computers and everything else. So this guy was basically saying how how Ellie basically was shaking the tree at the gas stations, anywhere that young kids were hanging out to see what info they would get, which he's basically calling them nasty words, but they're doing exactly what you would do. You would ask anybody possibly, especially young kids hanging out late at night. You're going to see, did they hear anything? What do they know? They also took all the guns out of the house.
Oh, really?
Why? Yeah, it's in there. If you read it, it's in the third paragraph.
What's that, like a red flag law or something?
I don't know why they took them. I mean, you wouldn't take them unless there was a reason. If there was a threat in the house, domestic violence, then you're taking them by law. You have to take them out of the house. But they took all the firearms from that house. They said they bullied me for my own record, and I thought I was going to end up getting blamed for the crime. And the reason I'm getting to this is I'm in the process of trying to speak to somebody from Delphi who, I don't want to say it's definitely Maxwell and this kid, but somebody saw two kids walking somewhat behind Libby and Abby the day they were getting onto the trail.
Well, early on, for those who were part of the case early on, to us, that's the dog lady.
Well, this wasn't a woman walking her dog. It's somebody that lives at one of the houses right there in the
Exactly.
drive.
She was never walking her dog. She was she was looking out her window and witnessed this, and then went and walked her dog.
Yeah. Well, she saw not directly behind the girls, but pretty close to the girls entering the trail. She called
them teenagers.
Yes, two young guys, and they had their hoods fully up.
That information has been completely removed off of the internet, by the way.
Why?
I don't know.
Exactly. And another thing I'm looking into is why the 2019 presser changed so drastically and so fast. Sorry, I just got to wash my hands. I put something on my hands. Remember how fast? They told the family 30 minutes before they went live at the presser. 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You're scaring me. Please stop talking. 30 minutes, which is crazy if you think about it. They didn't even give them a heads up. Like, hey, this is the strategy. We're changing everything up for a reason. Why? And I think that's some kind of crazy. It's not even a theory. I actually think that the bridge, when you break that the frames put together to put the walking on the bridge, I think that it's possibly a full-on mask. I'm not talking about a facial mask. I'm talking about what are those things made out of silicone?
Or you can just put it right over your head.
Yep. If you zoom in close to the facial hair, to me it looks like it's not real hair. It looks like it's spray painted. I've been analyzing this on and off for 2 weeks, going over it, and I'm like, something made them change from an older man sketch to a young man sketch. And yes, different age groups are going to say old to young, but you're not going to have a 35-year difference in appearance.
No, there's whatever changed their ages was information.
Yes. Yeah. I feel that 100%. And I just have a very good hunch that there was some type of mask involved.
Well, in my opinion, it would take a whole lot of detail to make that to be able to make that basically to make those claims. You need a lot of detail. We just don't have that. There's just no way.
Yeah,
I can't even make out the real face, let alone determine if it's a mask.
But that's what I'm saying to you is look at the structure of that face. Yes, not a clear image, but the head looks square.
That's probably what this numbnuts looks like.
Just look at that. Look at the hair as it's moving. Look at that hair on the face.
I don't think that that's hair. I think that what you have is you have the movement of the guy on the bridge, and then you have the movement of the girls holding the phone. So he could be moving his head all around, and then they could be shaking the phone from left to right, up and down.
Oh yeah, nerves. I mean, it's pure nerves. I mean, it's pure.
Well, it's just,
and
just natural.
What does that say, Steve? Why wear an obvious mask? What does that mean? Why wear an? I don't believe it was an obvious mask. KA, have you ever seen the masks that they dress somebody up as an older man and make them play basketball? Mm-hmm. Those things look very, very.
Not only
real.
that, there's people that are arrested and booked and because processed. Somebody was wearing a mask that even the mother of the falsely identified person called the police on them and said, "Hey, that's my son." And then come to find out it was somebody that's completely different wearing a mask that looks like the person.
Yep.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. I mean, I know it sounds far-fetched.
No, it's not far-fetched because I've been there. I've been down.
I could send you. Let me see if I don't know if I have Gmail on this, where I could actually send you one of the masks that. It's like
no, I have them. I have a folder.
You know what I'm talking about. You do? Okay.
I do.
I mean, let me see if I. Hold on, I'm trying to do something here. I'm trying to switch. I'm gonna switch to my iPad. So give me 1 second. Let me switch.
Sure.
I'm gonna call you right back.
All right. So while we are waiting for a call back from CD, we are going to watch this video really quick. This was one of my first YouTube videos, and it kind of talks a lot about the audio evidence. So while we're waiting for him, let's see what you guys think about this. With the audio retrieved from Libby's phone. Now you can actually download the original clip right off the indiana.gov website along with BG's bridge walk. One thing I wanted to point out also is the voice sounds different when you have the original source. There's a lot more bass in the voice and there's not as much twang. It's really strange. But there was something right here. So what you're seeing here is guys, the anomaly, and then right about here is down the hill. So in between this, there is something I've located that I can no longer ignore, and that's what I'm going to play here. So I'm going to play the original a few times. I'm going to play the anomaly by itself. You can kind of see how I broke it apart. So here's the original, here's the anomaly by itself, and then this will be them together. That's what you're going to be hearing now.
Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill.
Sleuth, how you hearing me, man?
Downhill. Guys.
sorry. I was on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, no, it's all good.
I'm gonna pause this real quick. Okay, there
No
we go.
problem.
All right, yep, you're back up. We got CD
Cool.
back.
Now let me send you this just so you can see, just so they get an idea of what talk. Because I think
Well, you
somebody
can
said,
actually
"Oh, is he drinking a bottle?" They're saying,
you could actually share on your end.
I can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can
Hmm.
add things that you want, and then all I got to do is once you post it up here, I just add it.
Where do I add it to? In the chat?
No, you see that share button?
No.
Are you in
see.
StreamYard right now? Yeah, go to the
No,
stream.
I'm in. I went from YouTube. I guess it takes me to StreamYard.
Yeah, so you're in StreamYard, the same app that you use to call in is StreamYard. You have an option there at the bottom. It says share.
Is it different from maybe an iPad though? I got the iPad Pro.
I'm not
It
sure.
might be.
It should give you the same options. If you don't see it, just go ahead and send it to me out, and I'll
Yeah,
post it up
I
here.
did send it. I sent it to the issue. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just so they understand what I'm saying, because I know, yes, it sounds far fetched. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand, but there's a total reason for that 180 that day.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
the same mask. I also had
you see what I'm saying, right? You see,
I was also even
that,
thinking the pullover mask as well. So let me give me a second here. Let me go ahead and save it.
Now they have ones like that with hair, you know, anything.
Mm-hmm.
But just so they understand that it looks realistic. You know, they do look realistic.
Yeah, and this isn't even one of the better ones that
No,
I've
it's not.
seen.
No, it's not. No, yeah, it's not even one of the better ones. It's just to show them an example.
If
Of
somebody
what I'm
was
saying.
wearing that and they walked by you, you wouldn't even notice.
Nope, they wouldn't even have a clue. Wouldn't have a clue. You know. CD, do you think the guy's younger or older? Masking kid. GT, I believe it's they're looking for somebody younger for a reason. You know, somebody younger for a reason. You know, could that be from the DNA profile that it's aiming towards somebody younger? We just don't know. You know, there's too many what ifs. But yeah, getting back to the two of them walking on the trail with the hoods up, you know, pretty close behind the girls. I mean, that's why I always say you got to start from the beginning. You know, you got to look. There was a reason that they went to Bicycle Road and did that Maxwell search warrant. They're, you know, and they took a lot out of that house. Hold on, I'm just reading back to what he posted. You know, taking the guns with verbal permission, like they persuaded them to agree to it. What are they taking the guns out of the house for? You know, I mean, there's just so much to that.
Yeah, I
and that was
definitely believe there was a gun
prior to
involved.
Keegan. I think that was 2 days. I believe it was on the 17th they did that search warrant.
I wonder if Keegan just means that they ran into like a dead end. They're like, okay, let's release this secondary information that we kind of had over here on the side and see if maybe that'll break loose something for us.
I mean, it's a possibility, but I mean, you see how many people have come out and said that they've females that have said that he contacted them already. You know, so I mean, it's like, you know,
well, we know
he was a pro. He was a pro at what he was doing.
We know he was contacting children. We know
Yeah.
that he was casting a really wide net, which could
Oh,
have
yeah.
included Libby, but it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that he was doing anything other than that when it comes to her.
No, but I do believe that they're looking for somebody that accessed that Dropbox. If it's not Keegan, there's somebody else that accessed it that they're aiming for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and do they have that person but don't have them? I don't know. You know,
And it could be nothing. It could just be another lead that they're hoping to follow up on.
oh yeah, oh true. I mean, very true. The whole thing comes down to 10 o'clock at night. Releasing that was very odd. There's
Very
just so many
strange.
odd things that have been done.
So let's say, what if 10 o'clock for us is
It's 7 p.m.
9
Cali time
or 9 in the morning somewhere else.
Oh yeah, no, it's true. It's true. It's true. And I don't know if you listened to the audio I sent you of Sergeant Riley, because
Mhm.
everybody keeps talking about how much of the audio video is there, and there is more. And Sergeant Riley speaks of it. I sent you the link. It was like 2 minutes long, the piece I sent you, and it was basically he's saying that he wouldn't say which girl the fear was in, but he said you could hear the fear that one of them had as to what was coming. And he said it haunted him for months, 6, 8 months. It replayed in his head over and over again. That's why these guys
Yikes.
are so torn when they're talking about this case. They're torn for a reason because of what they saw when they found them and what they knew leading up to it.
Yeah, and the only thing that kind of takes me away from a local killer, like an extremely local killer, is whatever happened at the crime scene. The strange signatures. To me, that's something planned out. You could do something very strange and very orchestrated and do it quickly if you've practiced it. If you've
Yeah.
thought about it a million times, you're like, okay, once I go ahead and do this, and they're both dead, this is what I'll do next, and I'll get it done quickly.
Well, once they're deceased, whatever move is made after that can be classified as a signature or a characteristic.
Yep,
Moving the
unnecessary.
bodies and then you see the leaves being, that they were moved through the leaves. So now you have them, they're being placed in that tableau that was supposedly leaked.
I was watching, I was reporting on a crime that happened in 2014 where this person had killed this young lady and she fell strange. Like she fell
strange.
awkward. Yeah, when
Okay.
she fell and
that
died.
happens. That does happen.
Yeah. So what he did was he just straightened her. He didn't like the way she fell, so he straightened her out.
Yeah.
That was a signature.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because he manipulated what happened after death.
Mm-hmm. But he wasn't doing anything that had any rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
Just the fact that he felt the need in his psyche to go ahead and move that body. We now
because
have
it wasn't perfect for him. That's the whole psychological side of it. What it wasn't perfect for him, so he had to make it perfect. I mean, the whole thing with murderers. Everybody says, "Oh, it's so." You never think, "Oh, it's so hard." It is not hard for somebody to go from being on the edge to committing a murder. It's a split-second decision. That's all it is.
And once you
do it, think about it. That? That's a possibility.
Yeah,
but
that's after the fact. It's too late. It's too late.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the murder's already done. Catching him is
a finality. It's final.
Is thinking about how he might be processing that murder, and that's how you try to catch him. But you're right. Some people, it may mean nothing. It could be like squashing a bug.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said to you that my profile on whoever did this, they have some kind of animal cruelty, dismembering an animal. That's what usually leads to this, And let's get back to.
Are you talking childhood? Childhood stuff?
Young child.
Okay.
Yep, childhood into teens. Mm-hmm. And it progresses. That's not enough for them anymore. They need more. It starts off probably shooting birds. And then it gets worse. It gets worse that they're trapping animals. And then it's the torture of that trapped animal. This is just the way it goes, man.
Yeah. Trophies, parts of the animal.
Yeah. It's twisted when you think about, and let's talk about the crime scene, right? Because people keep saying, "Oh, could it be strangulation?" I've seen many people strangled. These are young girls, but it's still not gruesome. These law enforcement describe this as gruesome. When you think of gruesome, what do you think of?
Me, I'm thinking maybe something carved into the body.
Yep, a heavy bladed weapon, bludgeon.
Yeah. I'm thinking, maybe something was carved into the flesh, or something was done with a body part, or that's what I think of when I hear about that. Or
100% right.
Or maybe even like smeared blood, or something written in blood, possibly. I don't know, something along those lines, to where
Yep.
it would say this person's not all there, or
Yep.
yeah.
Well, that takes you to your whole thing. Remember, you were possibly you had a little theory of like, could it be somebody who was basically hidden, who was somewhat of an
Oh yeah,
insane person, but being hidden by their family.
insane. And I'm calling it the mama's boy theory.
Yeah,
Somebody
could very
who's
well be.
somebody that's overly protected by their mother, maybe has an
Yeah.
inappropriate relationship with their mother as well.
Well. Think about the shooter. They had the school shooter in Connecticut. He was coddled by his mother.
Yes.
She felt that like, oh, he's only an introvert. Let me go take him and learn. Let me teach him how to shoot AR-15s and buy him one. And look at how that ended up. He shot her in
Right.
her bed and had to do a mass shooting at a school. It's just people don't want to say there's something wrong with their kid. That's just the generation we're in. What does it take? How many chances of some kind of disturbed behavior does it take to say, hey, I think there's something wrong. We got to get, in some intervention here. But that's just the world we live in. They don't want their kid being labeled.
Not only that, it could be completely hidden, and nobody loves their children more than their moms and their dads.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, have you ever seen the mother of one of the Columbine? She wrote a book about it. She absolutely was blinded. She knew nothing of what was going on in that kid's head.
And I totally get that, because I got in a lot of trouble as a teenager, a lot of felonies, stolen cars, running away. But my parents didn't know anything about that until it already happened. So I would come home, I would do my chores, I would be a good kid. I would
Well,
talk
you were
to
being
my
a good kid at
folks.
home, and then you were dabbling outside of the house.
Exactly.
I don't know if were you trying to fit in, or you were just like with the crew,
No.
or
Yeah, I was just a gangster. I was
you just want to,
just a wild kid.
It happens. You reeled yourself in. That's the best.
Well, I
you
was
can
one of those wild kids where you could put me in a group 2 states away, and I would find the other wild kid in the bunch, and we would go do wild shit together.
You guys are wilding out at 2 a.m.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, run into a lot of those kids back in the day, man. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just this case is just. I mean, that's why you have so many people looking at it, because it's such a. There's so many avenues that we just don't know. But if you go back to even the beginning, if you listen to I'm not crazy about the HLN, but I'm talking about just the interviews where you have law enforcement talking for their little pieces. You have Tobe saying how hearing BG and how he listened to it over and over again, and how he said the words he felt. He said, I'm a man of faith, and that's the devil talking. That's what I'm saying. Like, this was gruesome, and it was done quick. That's why maybe they moved them. How are you moving two bodies, when there's hundreds of searchers searching all night long?
They weren't searching all night long, and there wasn't hundreds of searchers.
The law enforcement and fire wasn't, but there were still 50, 60 people out there all night long.
Yeah, they got organized, and they all went and walked down the creek towards Delphi. Yeah. So they left the crime scene area at one point around like 4 a.m. So, I mean, it could have been completely open for a killer who lived near the crime scene to take those bodies and dump them.
Is it a possibility? It is. But the percentage of it, listen, to commit 2 murders in broad daylight, that takes a certain kind of killer.
That's what I'm saying. What if you didn't?
Takes a certain kind of killer.
What if you didn't? What if they weren't killed in broad daylight? What if they were just taken in broad daylight to a home nearby, and they were killed inside those homes and then dumped?
Well, Carter shoots that down, and even about the whole shack thing, and he said that.
Well, the shack. I'm not talking about a shack. I'm talking about an actual home.
He just shut down the whole. He said that they were murdered right there.
And the truth of the matter is, there's not even 100% that they know that.
Well, they would know with the blood. They would if this was
what blood
gruesome like it is, you would know by the blood loss at the scene.
Yeah, we don't know about any blood loss.
Say
gruesome.
Say
well, gruesome could equal a gaping gash in the neck, but that doesn't mean that there's blood everywhere.
Some neck slit elsewhere.
I don't want to assume. is the thing. I don't want to assume that what the crime scene looks like. You know what I mean?
I get it, but me with my career, when I hear gruesome, I know what it means. It means blood. It means
It doesn't mean blood.
a heart.
It can't mean blood.
I have to disagree. Why do you think it doesn't? It wouldn't mean blood.
I'm not saying that it doesn't mean blood. I'm saying that there's a chance that that's not what it means. We don't know, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, we don't have a positive of that, but
Mhm.
my experience of it, that's what I believe it is. I
Yeah.
believe one day
And
that's
and
what
it
we're
could
gonna
be
know it
very
to be.
bloody. It could be extremely bloody, but
Think
I just
about
don't.
why they went after that kid from Colorado that was living under the pass with the hatchet. Why do you think they inked up on him so hard? Because of the encounter he had with the girl with the hatchet in his hand.
Yeah, and he's
They
still
knew
a person of
nothing else
interest in it.
about him
He's
except for his encounter.
well, no, he's a person of interest in another
Well,
murder.
yeah, they still have him as a person of interest, but they said for now we're not interested in him. But there's a
Mhm.
reason that they wanted to talk to him, and it was
The
the
hatchet.
encounter he had on the trail with the hatchet. Come on out.
Mhm.
Come on. Come
Yeah,
outside.
but to me, that still just means gaping wounds, not
Oh yeah,
blood.
no, absolutely, absolutely. But that's all I'm
Most
trying to say is
likely,
that.
there's a lot of blood. Trust me,
Oh
most
yeah,
likely.
yeah, yeah. More,
But I
more
don't
than
want to
likely.
be the guy that when they finally reveal all this information that we find out the bodies were transported and all this. I
No, I
don't
get it.
I don't want to be the guy that got it wrong.
I get it. But my whole thing with crime scene analysis and the crime scenes I've been on, when they're saying that's the finale, that's the final crime scene, then they're pretty adamant about that. It's because of the blood, but we don't know that for sure. I get
Yeah.
what you're saying. I mean, I get, but that's where you'd be leaning towards with what they've given and how they've
Because
shot
if
down
you
the whole
walked up,
theory.
because if you walked up to which a lot of crime scenes that I've covered, where people are dismembered, a lot of times there's not a lot of blood. The blood is gone. The blood is all where the body was actually dismembered.
Oh
So
yeah,
if you
yeah.
walk
No,
up
no.
to the
Like
crime scene and
if somebody
you see all
if
these
somebody
body
cuts somebody
parts,
up, if somebody cuts somebody up in their parts and dumped them, those
yeah.
parts are going to be there, but
Well,
the
that's
blood's
not my
not. The blood's
point.
going to be where the
My point is
where the
this.
crime was.
My point is this, CD, is that if you walked up on that crime scene, it would still be gruesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I'll tell you the worst scene I've seen, and I've seen horrible things. The worst blood-wise scene I've seen was not a crime. It was I think he was 88 years old during the Yankees ball playoff game. He told his wife, "I'm going up to bed," and he had stomach cancer. And as he was going up the stairs, his esophagus detached from his stomach, and basically the blood in his body came out his mouth. And let me tell you something. You want to talk about, I mean, disgusting. It was everywhere. And
Yeah.
and the only person home was his wife, and me and the one other guy were the first on the scene. And my partner actually drew his gun out on the woman because from what we saw opening that door, it looked like he was shot. He was shot in the face by a shotgun. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
dang.
That's how I mean, this was gruesome.
Well,
And
I think what I'm thinking of is like the West Memphis 3,
yeah. Oh
where
yeah.
they
Oh
were
yeah.
killed, but there was no blood.
No, yeah. No, and you see they show the crime scene of it. No, there wasn't much.
Yeah, but that was gruesome.
That's a disturbing case. That's another
Yeah.
one in itself. That's just whoa, you know.
It
Uh,
reminds me of Delphi. I have a feeling that our crime scene is going to look a lot like that.
the, there's a possibility, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
the
But I do
rumor,
think
a
there's a lot of
leak.
blood. I do think that
Yeah,
there's a lot of blood.
yeah, I do too. I do too. And,
Yeah.
and the whole nations thing with the hatchet, there was a reason that they
Serrated edge.
yeah, a heavy blade, even a machete, something heavy like that, causes some serious flesh injuries. You know, it's the weighted blade. I mean, it could be just a butcher knife, but at the end of the day, you're feeling some kind of heavy weapon, But it's just hopefully this is the year where we get somebody arrested for it. I mean, I don't know. It's mind-boggling that
Well,
we're coming up on 5 years.
and that's not really that long though for this type of crime. Like, I'm okay with 5 years. I think 10 is where I'll start to worry.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, the whole
Uh,
thing is a small town, 3,000 total people, 1,400 of them being men. I think you're down to 600, 650 in the young adulthood category. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're not in a city here.
yeah.
That's what makes you like 5 years, and you're talking about a limited sample of people in that area.
My issue is the witnesses. We don't really have any witnesses. So to me, it's not somebody that's walking around those trails or visiting or out and about. It's somebody
Yeah.
that's on foot wandering around
Oh
that
yeah.
area that,
Oh yeah.
to me, in my opinion, they live there.
I agree 100%. 100%. Just because of the terrain itself to get to the walking you would have to do from being outside of there to get to that nobody saw this person. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
the Hoosier Heartland Highway thing there, where there's a walking path to walk down that.
Would have been
Nobody saw
seen.
this person, so they knew how to get to where they had to go.
Yeah, I don't think they were anywhere near the trails.
No.
I think that maybe the girls went too far. They were trespassing.
Yeah.
Um, they were trapped.
Oh, once they
They,
were at the end of the bridge, they were totally trapped.
yeah, and they
You
could have.
know,
There was a
because their fear
ruse.
also could have been, this guy seems something's not right here. He could just push us off the bridge at that point. He could just push you off the bridge. You know, so
Well,
there was a lot going through their heads.
he could have just told them, "Hey, we're gonna walk back to the house. I'm calling the
Yeah.
cops. You guys are gonna
Yeah.
come with me." And then instead of going to the house, they go past the house and then down that hill.
Yeah. And when we think about that hill, it's a pretty damn steep hill too. You know, it's pretty steep.
There's a lot of hills out there.
The terrain, when you think about, that's what the whole thing with Sean. I mean, no, listen, I'm all for him. That's what he believes. All good. You know, you got your beliefs. But that his dad had some kind of breathing issue from that video. I think it was 2016. The video of his dad walking around in like like a fifth wheel trailer, and you could hear him. You know, he had some kind of serious breathing issue, and he was huffing and puffing. You know, it's like, that terrain was brutal for somebody who couldn't breathe. You know, it sounded like
Yeah.
he had COPD.
And I think that there was a chase that took place. I think there was a violent attack on one, and then
Absolutely.
not only was it a chase, but it was a quick chase,
Yeah.
and they
Well,
were
that's
quickly
why I
apprehended.
believe that. That's why I believe Riley said that one of them had fear, and he could hear it as to what was going on to the other person, but he wouldn't say which one was in fear. So yeah, I believe, and that's also possibly why Libby lost a shoe. You know, did they? You think about it, at that age, you're gonna attempt some kind of getaway. You know, and doing something to your friend, you're gonna come back. You know, not many kids are gonna leave their friend.
Hmm.
You know, if that's your best friend, and he's telling you, I won't hurt her again if you come back. You walk back to me, I promise, I'm not gonna hurt her again. And you're gonna walk back because you don't want your friend to get killed because you're trying to escape.
Yeah, and they could have been doing what teenagers do and just pissing the guy off.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like, who are you? You know, just even questioning it.
F you. We're not going to listen to you. Like, we're not going to do what you say.
Yeah.
Well,
Because they also did say, I want to say it was Tobe said that it's not a very long video, but there is more. But that the killer did not say any other words. So did he really only say 4 words? Because when they put the guys there, you can hear it's like cut to place. You know, when you play, you hear guys, and you hear that like.
oh no, it's completely edited.
Yeah,
So.
no, yeah, it's completely manipulated. Did they sound out one of the girls yelling? We have no idea. You know, we have no idea.
And we don't know how much walking took place. That's my point. Like,
Yeah.
the guys could have took place at the end of that bridge. They could have walked all the way up the private drive, and who knows where they went. They could have walked for another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah. No. You know, they would know. Say they did, and this is hypothetical. Say they did walk the shallowest point of the creek because he knew that. Then they would know by the clothing of the girls how high up wet wise the pants are. But if they're full of water, that could have just been, we don't know. It could be from being tackled. We have no idea, but that embankment, that's why they didn't see them. Because I think it was the fire chief. And the fire chief at the time said that they did search. They didn't go on the other side of the creek's property because it's all private property after the sand area. Once you get up the embankment, that's all private property. But they did say that they searched, and I think a helicopter, something went 4 miles down the creek, and they searched, on the opposite side of the creek, but not up on the property. So that was clear. But you wouldn't see the bodies there anyway, unless you were up and looking over. Because that is it looks like it's 8 feet high. Didn't Brino go there and go up that embankment? It was like 8 feet high.
Wasn't that high. I mean, it was probably higher than 8 feet.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the mud itself, and then up.
Yeah,
You got to go up
there's
over the ridge.
parts where you can walk over where you can tell deer kind of made their paths up and down there.
Yeah.
But that's depending, that's just saying if that's exactly where they went up.
Yeah.
We don't know.
We don't know. We don't. But their clothes, I think that photographer did have, I think he couldn't release the image, but there was a piece of clothing hanging from the down tree right by the embankment. So I guess maybe it was, I think Libby was the one that didn't have a shirt on. It was probably her shirt. And that could have been
there's
just
a lot of
running.
people. There's a lot of people that think that that's a body, but I do believe it is a piece of clothing.
Yeah, it is
right.
because they did say when state police were sitting in the initial interview, they wouldn't say it was the girls for sure, but they did say they'd found a piece of clothing.
Mm-hmm.
They did say that part.
I think there's radio chatter as well that talks about a bra and panties or something along those lines.
Yeah. And that's the other question. Like, we don't know if there's any, a sexual assault or anything like that, but why was Libby totally nude? That comes into play too. If you find bra and panties, why, Well,
I was also thinking, let's say you're attacking somebody and somehow you get yourself injured and your blood is now on their clothing. You might want to take that clothing with you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. If you nicked your finger or something, yeah, absolutely. Even the worst criminal in today, over the last 20 years, is always thinking about, DNA somewhat of leaving something.
Well, spur of the moment killers don't. This might be somebody who's been giving it a lot of thought.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just a crime that has so many people just mentally invested. Two little girls. Hearing the parents, the grandparents say how she was going to be 18 this year. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't handle it. I don't know how they've done. I was talking to Anna yesterday, and I was kind of giving her my theories about somebody who lives there and stuff like that, and she's just like, she just doesn't want to think that.
I know.
It's possible.
How was she to you? How was she?
She's always really sweet to me.
Yeah.
She shoots it straight, man. She doesn't put up with any of my bullshit.
No, she doesn't. No, and there's some creators out there that she doesn't care for because, one thing or another, and she combats some people. But listen, none of us know how she feels. None of us.
No.
That was her only daughter, only child.
We can imagine, but to be honest, even just thinking about it, like, yeah, I would be a wreck. I would never be able to go back to work again. I would die too, and I would probably become some type of criminal as well.
Yeah, I mean, a piece of you would die along with this. It's just
not a piece, man. I would literally, I'd be crushed, man. I think I would lose faith in God. I think is what would happen.
Yeah, because I mean, that's the whole thing. Is like, how does God let people do this? The kids.
I would just feel like it was a personal attack.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's another thing. Like where people talk about it was, what was the reasoning for it?
So this is going to be our 5-minute warning, CD. Is there anything else that you want to go over, or you want to answer questions, or what do you have?
Do we have any questions? Do we have any?
Yeah, man, they're coming. Let's see. Well, Mandy was talking about what we were mentioning about the clothing. She says, I think a piece of clothing that was laying on the stump, which is what the guy zooming in with his phone noticed first.
That's a high possibility. I mean, that is a high possibility. You know, the whole thing with the deer didn't really make sense. How he was able to see deer from across the creek.
Yeah, that's so weird. But
It
there
is
are deer
weird.
back there quite often.
That's massive hunting ground. That's why Von Logan has it. He has it posted everywhere. That's private property because that is prime deer hunting land.
Oh yeah, I'd be hunting all the time.
And who wouldn't? I mean, it's beautiful there for hunting wise. I mean, you got the great terrain and everything because the deer want to come there during the day and bed down.
Donna says the panties were found in the water. Correct. Yeah, I think I heard that on the radio chatter.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, they needed evidence bags. I believe they called for 1 or 2 evidence bags.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ellie searched hardware stores. Teresa said it's been said Ellie searched hardware stores for a specific knife or blade. That's possible.
No, that is a fact. They did search, and that is a fact that they were looking for a certain type of blade.
Yeah, well, because you know from the wounds, you know what the blade would look like, so that does make sense.
And even impressions, because not every knife attack is going to cut or slice. It may just kind of leave like maybe just the tip of the blade, kind of a little cut.
If it's a stabbing or if it's a weapon used at hacking, you know, you have different ways of, you know, they would use them. You know.
I also heard that there was blunt force trauma too, so I'm wondering if maybe it was the bottom of a certain type of
Using
style.
the butt. Well, you could use the butt of it to knock the person out.
Mm-hmm.
That happens.
That happened with that's how they were convicted in the West Memphis 3 case. They believed that the knife they found behind one of the originally convicted killers was one of those Rambo style knives with the missing compass ball.
Okay, and you had the circle. The circle was indented.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What did Katie said? Please, CD. What is she asking? I don't see it.
Where? Oh, who's asking?
Kitty.
Katie. I don't see anything here.
I don't know what they're talking about. It was up like 2:26 p.m. Scrolling up.
Okay.
And one day we got to spend some time listening to the childhood friend of the boys that was interviewed, like, I want to say 5 different times. And he talks, the way he speaks is like he actually witnessed some of it happen. And he says it was the West Memphis 3 that did it.
Mm-hmm.
And that one of them was acting as like the boss of the scene. That's just the case that scratches your head too.
Well,
you know?
That's what got me into true crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was West Memphis 3. I
watched it in college. Pearl Jam. My brother's a big Pearl Jam guy, and we went to a concert, and they were, you know, started a fund to help get them out.
Yep. Who was it? Eddie Vedder?
Eddie Vedder. Yeah, Eddie Vedder. And his whole crew, they started like a fund with, I think, another band too. That was really invested. They got very invested in it. That's probably the reason that these guys got out, you know?
Oh, it is. And to me, that's a whole nother conspiracy, you know?
Yeah.
But
I do know that I want to say was it the stepfather of one of the boys who had his teeth removed, and he lied about the date of that because there were bite marks.
Mm-hmm,
he did lie. He did lie that, you know, his teeth were taken out years before, but it was actually like 5 years after.
Mm-hmm.
Give me that. My dog's chewing her toy. Drive me crazy. I got a Malinois, dude. She got to chew something, you know.
All right. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. We will talk further. I got some more stuff that I'm digging into, but I want more on it before I start talking about it. But we'll have much more to talk about going forward.
All right, man.
Great convo.
What do you were saying something about Sean?
Which part? Oh, about him. I know he did give his DNA when he first started talking about this.
Yeah, I mean, he's done everything he can, right?
He's exhausted every option. You know, he's given everything. You know, they have his DNA. They do have DNA on the Delphi case. What DNA they have, we have no idea. But I believe that in the beginning they were swabbing everybody, and there were people actually calling up saying that they wanted to give their DNA so that they wouldn't even be bothered. So we know
I
they do
would
have
do the
some
same
type of
thing.
DNA. Oh, absolutely, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Mhm.
These are people's friends' kid that murdered. I mean, you're gonna do whatever you can to push it along.
Yeah, you don't want
You know?
anybody focusing on you for any little weird reason, you know.
Yeah, no. And
That's
I
the
know
one thing as
I know
a
you were
parent.
talking about. That's another one we got to talk about next time is Garrett Kurtz. I know you were talking about
Oh,
the other night. He's
yeah.
such an interesting character, man. Such an interesting character.
Oh, yeah.
And you know his dad. They went to his dad's job to talk to him, Mark Kurtz, and he
Well,
lawyered up instantly.
the first 2 search warrants was on Logan and his father before Maxwell.
But did they get a full warrant at his father's house?
Mhm. They sure did. It's on
Okay,
file.
because I know they went to him to talk at first, and he just basically
Nope.
told them. So that's probably why they went and got a warrant, because he told them basically to go to hell. He wasn't going to talk to them, but once you get a warrant, there's nothing you can do.
Well, they the 2 first search warrants was served in the Delphi murder case. One was Logan, and the other was Kurtz's father.
Yeah, I mean, Kurtz is a very interesting character. Very interesting character. And this whole thing of like, oh, I've never been there. And then, oh, I rode a 4-wheeler across the bridge. I mean, he's just all over the place.
His alibi. His alibi
he's
is the worst.
Oh,
I was so high,
he
I
has
don't
no
know
alibi.
where
He
I
doesn't have
was.
one.
Yeah, he doesn't
He has
have.
none.
That's my point. He doesn't have one.
I think it was the Tuesday or Wednesday before is when he got fired from Packers.
Yeah, he was supposed to be there on Monday.
Yeah, he was on a trial. He was on like a trial basis. Like he was doing like a
no,
2-week training.
He was in training.
He was in training,
Yeah.
and he just got wrecked and didn't show.
Can't mess up.
But then
in
he
training.
doesn't tell you. He doesn't know where he was. Well, I might have been at my mom's or my grandmother's. He has no idea.
Yeah, and if you watch that True Crime Jesus video about the Packers, he kind of shows their uniforms and their blue windbreakers with white bibs that kind of stick up through near the collar area. So that was interesting
plus
too.
The boots too. The boots. Remember I think that that bomb threat at Packers was not real. I believe that was their excuse to get in.
It was.
They wanted to get in low key. Not make a scene, but to leave there and be on camera taking boots
I really
out.
appreciated that. That's the only really gutsy thing I've seen them do during this case.
Oh, yeah.
Really.
No, they were smart because there's so many criminals that work there. So they just did not.
Yeah, they're coming from
hinky.
Lafayette. They're coming from Peru. They're coming from
think
Kokomo.
about it, right?
They're coming from all over the place.
Say you got some kind of contraband in your locker in there. If you hear bomb threat, you're just leaving. You hear like, oh, the cops are coming, blah, blah. Then you're going to start hiding shit. This is the way that they'd avoid anybody hiding shit and just get them all outside in that fenced-in area. Miss Behave was going to call in. Why didn't she call?
I think her phone died.
No. Yeah, I mean, he's another guy we could talk about him for hours because he is very interesting. He was well on his way to be a serial killer.
And the next time we definitely will, and we should.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot about him. Oh yeah. And I think a lot that changed him is when his friend died, and he wasn't there when his friend died, but I think he talks about how he got there when the sheet was being put on, and that totally changed him at like 17. He's around 17 at the time, and that set him off on his trajectory of deep into drugs, to where he's up days at a time. They had no idea where he was. If you weren't involved in this case, you'd be able to tell people exactly where you were.
Yeah, not that I was so high that I don't know.
I stayed at my mother's because I knew I was going to get fired. You'd know exactly what you were doing. You wouldn't the word jumble. Very, very interesting guy. Very interesting. That they added 10 years to his plea deal. And I think that had to do with his polygraph, because he was deceptive. So I think that they removed the deal because I guess they told him, you play ball with us, with doing a polygraph and whatnot, and we'll give you a lower sentence. And they added 10 years to his sentence.
Yeah, and the video that I just put out the other day where he was talking to Open Secrets, and he was talking about how Ashley Garth told him that she's seen the video.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
People call him a
And
liar, but
some
you gotta
people, some
you gotta
people
take that
knock
shit
that, man.
serious.
I
You gotta
agree.
take that serious.
Some people knock it because she was giving him money for, so he could buy stuff in
Mhm.
prison. But he's not going to just talk to anybody for free. So let's be real. I mean, so what he was saying, there was a lot of truth in what he was saying.
Yeah, he was feeling like he needs to speak up for himself. He's already facing pretty much life in prison. Why not do
And he
like a
got off.
little mic? He was like a micro snitch, is what he did.
Oh yeah. Think about the Ray Hanish, the guy that died. He was able to get that case got pretty much closed. That it was like a sexual position that went wrong.
Catfish.
So he didn't even want to talk about Ray Hanish because he didn't want that getting anywhere near dug up.
Did you hear her mention that? And then he kind of
he shut her down. Oh yeah, he said what?
And then she was like, "Oh no, never mind."
Yeah, no, he made
Good
sure
try.
not to talk
Good
about
try.
that
Open
because,
secrets. Good try.
yeah, she did. Listen, I give her credit. She did try.
Oh, she did
and,
magnificent.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, she was great. She really was great.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
And when a girl who's never, I mean, think about it, she's never done anything like that before. Talking live to a known murderer, and she did amazing. She really, really did amazing. She played
talking.
She played stupid at the perfect times, and he was just, he was just rolling. He was just rolling with it. A very, very interesting guy.
And her being a female, she kind of knew that was going to kind of get him a little bit too.
Oh,
and she used that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well,
Brilliant.
I know that his new girlfriend called her like a year ago. I don't know if you know
I saw that.
Oh,
yeah,
that
I saw.
I mean,
oh
she,
man,
but
I'm very familiar with all of her stuff.
Yeah, she called her ready to like kill her over the phone. And then by middle of conversation, they're talking about cooking dinner. She totally calmed her down. It was like she's very good at what she does.
Oh yeah,
very good.
She's a jujitsu expert when it comes to talking.
I mean, yeah, that's verbal judo, man. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
That's what you're taught in the police academy. Verbal judo. I'm not even kidding.
Judo.
It sounds ridiculous, but it does work. It's mind manipulation is what it is.
It's kind of using the same thing that causes them to kill against them. You know what I mean? Like
yes,
it
does.
Yeah, something wrong with you, so I'm going to use it.
It's just a way to like put somebody into a soothing state where they just start like complying and telling you everything. Yeah. That's the whole good cop bad cop. It works. It really does work.
Especially when deep down
when they're getting it hard by somebody. Somebody's giving it to them hard. And then you got
they need that friend.
Soda.
They need a hero.
Yeah. Oh, you want to have a cigarette? Oh, you're gonna give me a cigarette? They're ready to tell you everything. It's unbelievable how well it works.
And it's crazy because a lot of these perpetrators, deep down, they want to tell you anyway.
Yeah. Oh, they do. No, absolutely, absolutely. Listen, the whole thing is right. You got a murder, and you got 5 people who did it. Put them all in a room. You see who goes to sleep that night. You know who did it. Just a fact.
Yep.
The one who, the other ones are sweating. He knows what he did. He's going to sleep. Just the way it is.
Yeah.
Just the way it is.
He already knows the conclusion. He's just waiting for the outcome.
Yeah. He's just waiting for the outcome. He's like, fuck it, I'm going to sleep tonight. These guys are squirming. But good chat. We got plenty to talk about. The 2022 being a good year, and I hope this gets solved, man. I really do.
I'm sure it will. Let's keep keeping the awareness. I mean, if we're already into it. We're already dedicated. So I mean, let's keep talking about it on our spare time. And until next time.
Facts, buddy. Good talk.
All right. I'll see you soon.
You got it, man. Later, buddy.
All right. Take care. Bye. All right, guys. That was another great show. We had some great visitors. We had Sean show up. He hasn't showed up for a while. We had Ophelia join me. It's been amazing to talk with her. She's obviously enjoying her night. Sorry, misbehaved, but we are at the 2.5-hour mark. So I got to get out of here. It's getting late where I'm at. So I do apologize. We'll go ahead and we'll get something scheduled together where we can all join on a kind of like a panel. I like how that went last time. So I want to thank everybody for showing up. Looks like some people did buy some merch during the show. Find out who that is, and I'll shoot you a little message, and we'll be having a little giveaway contest. I think Ophelia might help me with that. Give me some ideas if you guys have any ideas on what might be fun, and a good way to get that merch out to you guys. Let me know. sleuthintuition@gmail.com is the email. And, we'll do this again real soon. Hopefully justice is coming for the girls, Libby and Abby. And, we're stuck here. We're stuck on this case. And we're going to do what we can, whether it's awareness or just not sitting still. So I appreciate everybody who is right here with me with this obsession. So thank you so much. Take care. Everybody enjoy your night.